broadcast.
Hello and welcome back to Jam Radio. I have to get it right this time because there's no one here to correct me. We are running a fully staffed radio operation here. I'm your host, John.
And I'm the tech guy who's here this week.
Yeah, our engineer
after
Nathan.
Last week's debacle.
Who's here every week. He's just trying to
cover up my mistake.
Cover up your first mistake. So
yeah.
Once again, we failed to record the radio.
Yep. Didn't go well.
Yeah, but it's been like that for 6 weeks. So seventh time's the charm.
Yeah. So we'll probably get it right this time, hopefully. If not, then it's just lost to the radio wave ethers yet again.
Yeah. So listen to us live, or don't listen to us at all. It would seem
just fine.
That's really live radio.
You've got quite a show lined up this week.
Yeah, a big hitter. We're going to be talking about a topic that I think is very present in everyone's forebrains. Recycling.
A very important aspect of environmentalism and
waste management, environmentalism,
tackling climate change, recycle the glass,
reducing consumerism.
Yeah, absolutely. So, am I right in saying you've got some guests lined up?
Yes, although we are going to be doing kind of a walk-on type show.
Yeah.
We do have a list of guests in the waiting room outside.
There's a few of them, yeah, just sort of sitting out. I can see them through the window. They're kind of like glaring at us.
Yeah, some odd and wacky characters that...
Ignore that hiss.
We managed to fit into the van. Being moderated at the moment by Keith.
Kenneth. Kyle? I can never remember his name.
I mean, it begins with a K. We've got that nailed down.
Doom and gloom, to be honest.
I mean, I don't want to.
He can't hear us because he's tending to the guest. He's got his puppet out.
Yeah, we're in a very soundproof room.
Yeah, so go away, Keith, Kenneth, Kyle, whatever your name is. But yeah, I can make way if you want for your first guest.
If you just turned your mic down and then turned up the guest seat, that'd be fine. Right.
Well, I'll see you all in a bit. And I think your first guest is Robo-Boy.
Yeah, Robo-Boy. He's RoboCop's son.
I believe so, and I believe he's the CEO of like a multinational recycling company.
I didn't know he was a CEO. I just assumed he was like multinational. You mean he goes on holiday sometimes and recycles there?
No, I mean he owns a huge business.
Right, but he was just like picking up recycling.
That's how he started.
Himself.
Yeah, I'm sure he can tell you more.
Oh shit, let's get him in.
So hang on, right? I'll just let him in the room. I'll get Kyle to bugger up. It's past the watershed now, so we can sort of go for your in.
We can say whatever we want. Wonderful.
Yeah, come in. So just sit there. Thank you. Hello.
Hello, you Robo-Boy, correct?
Yes, I am Robo-Boy.
Your voice really does not match your stature, I would say.
I get this a lot. People assume Robo-Boy. Robo-Boy would be a boy, but I am in fact a man.
On the inside, at least.
I've aged. Yes, I am automaton, but I have the developed AI consciousness of a fully grown, about 47-year-old adult.
And the body of a 12-year-old cartoon character.
Yes, I am a small robot boy with the mind of a man.
That must be rough.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
But I haven't let it get me down.
Yeah.
Robo-Boy Incorporated crosses the globe.
At least one border.
Yes. At least one.
Yes.
One measly border.
So what can you tell us about your business, the recycling business?
Border.
Wait, so...
Don't get me started on the legislation.
You work in Dundee and Canada.
Yes. And also Guatemala. I have a hotel there.
And I think I see Cameroon?
Cameroon also.
Yes.
You've spotted my scarf. We have many recycling machines in these areas, as you will well know. You'll see them throughout Dundee. That's me.
Robo-Boy recycling everywhere.
Robo-Boy recycling. Put it in my mouth. That's what they say.
Is that what you do?
Yes.
Is that how you recycle?
Yes, because they're all robots, these machines. They're all sentient beings.
Oh, right. So all of the recycling machines that we find out on the street, at corners, being vandalized, being taken to the recycling centre themselves, are all sentient thinking creatures.
Don't get me started on the unions, the recycling machine unions.
So they are also being paid?
Why do you think they've started unions?
Oh, so it's robot slave labor.
It's not. I wouldn't use that term. When I started, I wasn't paid. I was just trawling the streets of Vancouver, trawling the streets of Broughty Ferry, trawling the streets of a city in Cameroon, and picking up bottles and cans and crisp packets. And I threw the crisp packets in the landfill because you can't recycle those.
I didn't know. Terrible.
Yes, it's the foil, you see. The bane of my existence is foil.
Get stuck in your robo-teeth.
In the gears. Yes.
But you can eat tin foil, aluminium foil.
It depends on the manufacturer. Some foil, it interrupts the brain waves, the synapses, if you will. Gets caught in between the cogs.
So, well, you've told us a bit about your workers that you don't pay.
No, we are currently in some prolonged negotiations with the recycling machines. They do suffer a lot of abuse, like you said, from vandalism.
And they can't even run away.
People putting cigarette butts in them. And, generally messing up the mechanisms.
Putting the wrong recyclable into the wrong hole.
Yes, but we do recycle them. So part of their existence and their faith, as they have chosen to deign it, their faith, is that, their purpose in life is a cyclical thing. And so when they begin, they recycle, and then they are recycled. It is a loop.
A circle of recycling.
I am their chosen God.
Are you sure?
Yes.
You're also their boss that
my father has a statue in Detroit.
Oh, yes, your father,
I am a god.
The god Robo-Boy.
Robo-Boy.
Son of... What does that make Robocop your father if he is the father of a god?
He only put the pieces together. He followed a manual. Don't ask me who Emmanuel is. I don't know him.
That's
funny, my humor
That's
circuit.
A funny robot joke.
Yes.
There. Okay, so it's been established that you're a big wig in the recycling sector.
Yes.
What do you feel
and
about...
And you have to... No, that doesn't work. Continue.
The other 2/3 of that famous slogan, reduce, reuse, recycle.
Yes.
Reducing the amount of waste you produce and reusing any waste that you produce.
Yes.
What do you think? What's your take?
It's propaganda.
Propaganda.
Yes.
The only way forward is recycling.
Yes.
And you wouldn't say that is a conflict of interest, given that you run the largest recycling company in the street, at least.
I'm neutral in these matters, you see. But that is just slanderous propaganda. Reducing, reusing. The way forth is to recycle. Yes.
What about things that can't be recycled?
You could reduce your use of them or reuse them.
So you're saying there is at least for some things
Do you know Jack Johnson?
Yes.
The Hawaiian singer-songwriter and heartthrob of many a middle-aged woman and man.
Is he coming on the show?
No.
Okay.
Not me. I mean, he could. I've got him on speed dial, saying that I have him on speed dial for he is my worst enemy.
Right. Worst enemies always have each other.
We are mortal foes. Robo-Boy and singer-songwriter Jack Johnson.
The robot that could just replace their parts.
The robot that could.
The Robo-Boy that could.
That's derogatory.
I apologize.
Yeah, thank you.
Though you did call yourself an automaton.
The way I choose to identify is my business.
You're right. I have nothing to say.
Good. Anyway, Jack Johnson, he wrote a horrible song. You might remember hearing it at primary school. It went reduce, reuse, recycle. And you notice how he put my company at the end of that.
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't have the same ring when it's like recycle, reduce, reuse.
It sounded pretty good when you said it.
Nah.
I think it should go recycle, recycle, recycle.
Well, I mean, that's just repetition. It's not even like good repetition.
All right.
If you say so. All right, well, thanks for coming on, Robo-Boy.
Is that all you wanted to ask me?
We'll have you on another week to talk about your very famous
I'm a
father.
very important robot.
A ver.
Yes.
Another robot joke, is it?
Ver.
Keith? Kenneth? Kyle?
What is it you want?
Can we get the next guest, please?
You want Greasy Greg in?
I suppose I do.
Okay, I'll bring him through. What, you're getting rid of me?
Well, it's been 12 minutes already. I think it's time for the next guest. We got to give everyone an equal amount of time in our time slot.
The unions will hear about this. The way you have treated their god.
Okay.
I leave because I want to, not because you told me to.
I mean, if you didn't leave, we would have to get security.
Oh, I'll leave then.
Thank you very much. That was Robo-Boy, everyone. Son of very famous man, Robocop, half man, half robot, and now Robo-Boy, all robot and all capitalist, it would appear.
So, you want me to send the next person in? That's alright, just pop back in, just to.
Yeah, please do. Thank you, Nathan.
All right,
Everything sounding good?
Yeah, I think so.
Find out. Okay.
I don't know how to do my job.
I mean, that's how we've lost 8 recordings.
What?
Alright, please introduce yourself to the microphone.
I'm Greasy Greg.
Greasy Greg.
I own Greg's refurbished garbage.
Greg's refurbished garbage.
It's alliterative.
Is it?
Kind of. Because, see, my name's Greg, and so it's alliterative with that.
Yeah, Greg's.
Greg. They're alliterative. And then, what's my name? Well, I forgot my shop's name. Sorry, I didn't take my medicine.
Oh, okay. Well...
I have an enlarged thyroid.
That really does it for you. I can actually see it.
Yeah, that's what I told Eyes.
Yeah, really pressing on your vocal cords.
Yeah, I actually have the voice of an angel, but it's been taken away from me.
I mean, who says you don't now?
Oh, thank you.
All right, so...
You're a real flirt.
Yeah. I'll remind you, it was Greg's refurbished garbage.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah, would you call that a recycling business?
No, it's a pawn shop.
A pawn shop?
Yeah, it's kind of recycling. It's kind of like reusing.
Is your tagline by any chance, one man's garbage is another man's treasure?
No, it's put it in your mouth.
That's oddly familiar to the recycling machines that Robo-Boy was just talking about.
I'm in no way affiliated with Robo-Boy Incorporated.
Okay.
I'd like to make that very clear.
Yes, but you are...
I don't trust him.
Well, I hope he hasn't copyrighted or trademarked that put in your mouth thing.
He better not have.
Well, I mean...
Because I came up with it first. He may be the 46-year-old man in the body of a robot boy.
I see you were listening to the speakers in the waiting room.
I'm Greasy Greg.
Greasy Greg. The one and only.
I own this town.
Do you?
I like to tell myself that.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, you run a pawn shop, right?
I do.
What kind of things do you pawn?
Pins.
Pins?
Stamps.
Oh, yeah?
Antique pottery. You know how students will put all their bottles in the window of their flat because they think it makes them look cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. We got nothing to do with that.
So you don't buy old bottles, you just...
we just slander it.
Absolutely, I respect that wholeheartedly. I mean, I don't want to as you know, my role as a radio thing means I can't say anything, but I agree with you.
Oh yeah, nice. Would you say that Greg's refurbished garbage is the number one spot to take your pawnable goods?
No, I won't say that. Not until you pay me.
Okay. I can pay you in old clothes of the deceased.
No deal. Maybe talk to Kenneth, though. He might be able to work something.
He looks like the kind of person who'd be interested in something like that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, so I own the pawn shop, and we pawn this and we pawn that.
Yeah, this and that.
Yeah, this and that. Bits of tat. Made to look, you know, glorious and sparkling.
Okay, so... Greasy Greg, what I think's happened is someone's read your name, refurbished garbage, at the studio and thought that has something to do with recycling.
Right.
And thus you have been invited on as a local business owner in the recycling sector.
What's recycling?
Recycling is where you take what is normally considered waste, you know.
Yeah.
Most popularly like glass bottles, aluminium cans.
No, nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and reuse, make them good again. Melt them down.
Yeah.
So you don't do any of that.
Is that something to do with that, like, climate crisis thing?
Well, yeah, the idea is to, it's not really a climate crisis in that...
Good, because I don't buy it.
You don't believe in climate change?
Nah, I think it's a load of old rubbish, and I should know I deal in it.
All right, so you don't think that the glaciers are melting?
Right. Listen here, right? If the world is flat, how can it be warming up?
Well, I mean, I think we disagree on whether or not the world is flat, but we won't...
I've took you as a man of logic and reason, my son.
But,
turns out you're just another one of these crooks.
Do frying pans get hot?
If they're on a flame...
Yeah, so what if the flame is the fires of human industry?
Nah, mate. We're on the backs of 12 giraffes floating through space on a giant porpoise.
What about their necks?
What about their necks?
They're awful long necks.
Yeah, you see them. Never been up Mount Kilimanjaro, seen the giraffe necks poking out the edge of the world?
The edge of the world? Well, they just like splayed out?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
At equal distances apart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giraffe necks.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So back on topic.
Like stubby horns. What are those for anyway?
Good question. Like, must be some cosmic reason, eh?
Yeah. They're like a little antenna shooting out for the aliens to read us. They're alright, them giraffes.
So you okay, so you don't believe in global warming.
Nah.
You don't do any recycling.
Nah.
Not even like to return a bottle for money.
Not got time for it, mate.
But you get you used to get 20p. I think they're bringing that back though. Hopefully.
I know someone who's going to have something to say about that, and I hope they do.
Is it one of your fellow pawn shop owners who buys bottles?
Nah, it's that Robo-Boy. He's going to hate that.
I mean,
he's going to have to start paying out. He's going to have to start putting money into his machine, his workers.
Mm.
And then they're going to have all this capital, right? It's like a redistribution of wealth, which, to be honest, makes a lot of sense. But if these workers suddenly have all this wealth, they're just going to pop off.
Yeah.
Somewhere
What's stopping them from seizing the means of production?
I mean, they kind of are the means of production.
In a roundabout way, yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Wild how that works.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, Robo-Boy clearly against it, but why are you against it? Because you don't believe in recycling.
Climate change?
You don't believe in climate
or the 20p?
You don't believe in the 20p?
I don't know what you're on about. Please specify.
Well...
Why don't I believe in climate change?
Alright, just go through the list. Recycling, climate change, 20p's.
20p's.
Which one do you believe in? Which ones do you believe in?
I like the idea of 20p's because it will mug off Robo-Boy.
Right.
I don't believe in climate change because how can a flat earth get hot when it's on the back of giraffes and a porpoise?
Right.
and the giraffes are sending signals out with their little
stubs.
with
their stumpy antennas.
Stubs.
Yeah.
You never seen them move when you're up Everest?
I don't think they move.
You climb more mountains, mate.
I mean, if it's a giraffe, right, which is, I assume, the same as the giraffes you find in Africa.
Yeah.
Those little stumpy things are like part of their skull.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, you learned something, don't you?
Yeah.
But, so I don't believe in climate change. I don't believe in recycling.
Right.
Because recycling is bad for business.
And you like the idea of 20p's?
Yes. You get an approval on 20p's.
Right, that wasn't the question. But yes, excellent. Okay. Greasy Greg, the man who was let in here by mistake. Is there anything you'd like to say to anyone?
Come down, Greg's refurbished garbage. Put it in your mouth is the tagline. We got all sorts.
Wait, just to step in there.
Yeah.
None of the things you've told me you sold, you could put in your mouth safely.
I think you could put them in there. I test every product.
The closest thing you could do is like lick a stamp.
You could lick a badge. You could get a badge pierced through your lip.
But why would you?
I don't know. Fashion.
You sell it.
Trains. I don't understand trains either. It confused me.
Of course.
How them wheels go round.
Would you be able to tell me your educational history?
I have a diploma from Harvard University.
Harvard. How's that spelled?
ARVARDD.
Harvard. Right. Okay. Harvard University. And where is Harvard University?
It's in Plymouth.
Harvard University
in Plymouth. Yeah, it's where all the pawnbrokers go.
Really?
See all those fellas you see on TV, on Pawn Stars and that?
Yeah.
Which I always thought was a very funny name. You get it?
Alliterative?
Yeah. They all went to Harvard.
They're all Harvard alumni.
Yeah. See, that's not alliterative. That's metaphorical.
What? Metaphorical?
Yeah.
How? Explain metaphors.
Because, zinc gets in your follicles. So it's metaphorical.
Right, okay, that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Metaphorical.
Why?
What does that have to do with alumni?
Oh, because they're always buying metal.
Are they?
Yeah. To sell in their pawn shops.
I mean, Harvard alumni, yeah.
And then they put it in their mouths and it gets in their follicles.
Yeah, okay, that logic is a straight line.
Yeah.
You
think I'm an idiot, don't you?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
I have the voice of an angel.
Yeah, so you said. Yeah. So I said.
Yeah.
Until I knew you.
I got to know you.
Okay, so
Very
you don't believe in
rude.
recycling, the topic of this show. Do you believe in reusing and reducing?
Well, it would be hypocritical for me to not believe in reusing, because that's what my shop's all about. But yeah. I do think that there should be profit when you're reusing.
Profit for you or profit in general?
For me.
Right. So
or for anyone. I mean, not for the seller, because, I shouldn't really say this on the radio, but we undersell clients all the time when we're appraising their items.
Is that a wee Harvard secret?
Harvard alumni metaphorical secret.
Wow.
Yeah. We undersell so we can sell back at a higher price.
Yeah. So you don't oversell. As in, like, you don't.
We undersell. We underpin.
You look at you use your value eyes to determine the value of, say, a stamp.
We're all cyborgs.
Is that what the metaphorical thing is about?
Exactly.
You sell so much metal and you put so much in your mouth. You become cyborgs.
Yeah. And we can see the price of each item as it comes in.
All right. What's the price of this?
About £2.75.
So, £5.
About that, yeah.
Okay.
I was underselling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how much would you sell that for, if you had it?
Anywhere from £7.50 to £10.
I wouldn't buy that.
I'm really good at forging signatures.
What does that have to do with...
Well, right, so you show me that cushion of records.
Are you going to sign it with a fake signature?
If I use a bit of the old how do you do...
A bit of the old how do you do?
Yeah. And, forge, I don't know, let's say... Oh, what's his name from Rolling Stones?
Mr. Stone.
Eddie Murphy, right? I put Eddie Murphy's signature on there.
Of the Rolling Stones.
Of the Rolling Stones.
That's in the signature.
Precisely. People come in and they'll say, Eddie Murphy, he wasn't in the Rolling Stones, he's a comedian. And I say, little do you know what I know.
Checkmate.
Exactly. And they pay every time.
And do they teach that in Harvard?
In Harvard, yeah.
Harvard University of Plymouth.
Of Plymouth, yeah.
Of which you are an alumni.
And
a metaphorical.
Yes.
With cyborg eyes.
Yeah.
Which can unlock.
I'm Greasy Greg.
Greasy Greg. Oh, sorry. I should have asked, what's the greasy part?
Oh, it's my first name.
Oh, so you are Greasy. You're Mr. Greg.
Yeah.
Oh, so sorry. I thought you were Greg the whole time. First name Greg.
What did you think greasy meant?
I thought it was an adjective.
You think I'm greasy?
No, I don't. That's why I asked.
I can't believe this.
Maybe you swim in chicken fat. I don't know.
Excuse me, sir.
Well, I mean...
I can't believe this slanderous... After everything I've told you about the trade of pawnbrokers, this slander coming my way.
And, Kenneth, that's all we have time for. I'm sorry.
Can you get my name wrong again?
It was wonderful to have you here, Mr. Greg.
The unions will hear about this. The alumni.
Kenneth,
we're going to hear about this. What is it you want some out?
Yeah, next guest, please.
I'll be having words with you and your sister.
Oh, no, you can berate Kenneth all you like. He likes it. He might even buy those old clothes from you.
Do you have any puppets to sell? We've got no puppets without saying that. Yeah. That seemed tense.
Tense? I mean, yeah. 2 for 2 on guests that are angry leaving.
There's something about you that's just like annoying these people.
Because I'm cutting too close.
Yeah,
it's investigative.
You're cutting edge.
Journalism.
Like Mark Howard or someone here.
Yeah, Louis Theroux.
Yeah, absolutely.
Name dropped.
Well, shall we maybe throw it to some music for a little bit?
Yeah, let's have a break. Yeah. I need to drink some liquid.
Yeah. We'll
read up on recycling.
We'll hydrate and we'll come back. I think the usual Rudy Van Dam is. It's ritualistic at this point.
We've done it 8 times.
Yeah. Right, okay. We'll be back in about 3 to 5 minutes. Bye-bye. This is Kenneth Weatherfork, the puppeteer from Lancashire. I'm here to inform you that this music has been removed due to copyright issues. Please search the song by Rudy Van Dam called Pengayu e Pengayu. That is spelled PENGAJUN space E space PENGAJUN by Rudy Van Dam for the full Dundee community broadcast experience. Thank you. We shall now return to the Shut Up! And we're back.
Thank you, Nathan. Welcome back to our esteemed listeners. I think we're going to go right into the weather from Kenneth. He's all set up with his his prop.
I wouldn't call it a prop to Kenneth.
I mean,
this is his reason to keep going. Shall I get him in?
Yeah, let him in.
All right, I'll be back in a bit. Maybe be a bit nicer to Kenneth than you were to those two, because he kind of really needs it at the moment.
I can't promise anything.
Okay.
Kenneth? Come on. Yeah, you're up. Weather. Yeah. Okay. Hello.
Hello, Kenneth.
How are you, John?
I'm doing just fine. It's been nice.
You look nice today. I like what you've done with your hair.
Thank you.
I'm trying out some compliments. Just to see if people compliment me for once.
Well, I like your arm.
Well, thanks. I worked extra hard on that arm today. Anyway, do you want me to do the weather?
That is what you're here for, yes, Kenneth.
Okay. Do I have a jingle yet?
Weather.
I think that was Mario. Hello, my name's Kenneth, and I'm the puppeteer from Lancashire. With me today, as always, is Jerome Gustav. How are you, Jerome? I'm doing really well, thanks, but I should warn you. What do you have to warn me about? I have to warn you about the impending apocalypse. Well, that's not very upbeat, is it, Jerome? I'm afraid not. You see, the tangled grasp of eldritch influence is sweeping throughout the land. Any day now, the prophet of doom shall descend on his silvery steed and harbinge the death of the world. Oh, is there anything we can do about that? I'm afraid not. The death shall be swift and imperilous. Oh, perilous. Is it imperilous or perilous? I don't know, but you sound pretty This always happens to me.
Line!
Ever since the divorce, I've been forgetting my own jokes. Do you understand, John?
I mean, your wife did take the joke book with her.
She took more than the joke book. Anyway, the weather. Other than impending apocalypse, what do we have on the cards, Jerome? Well, it's been a bit wet and windy, but I suppose it could get sunny. Don't lie to me, Jerome. The world is overcast and sad. Isn't it?
Kenneth, do you have any thoughts and feelings about recycling?
I think that recycling is something that is important, like recycling socks into puppets, or recycling cardigans into puppets, or recycling, like the tubes, what you did arts and crafts with when you were a kid, you know what I mean?
Pipe cleaners.
Yeah. Recycling those into puppets.
Alright, well, that's been Kenneth with the weather. Always wonderful to hear from you, Kenneth.
Thank you for having me back. This is the only thing that gets me out of bed.
Well, you are contractually obliged to be here.
I know.
Oh, you scared.
Right, shall I bring Nathan back in?
Yeah, show Nathan in. We'll call you for the next guest.
Thank you for inviting me back on. It means a lot.
Again, contractually obliged. But, of course.
Keep saying that. I don't understand what it means. Nathan wants you back. Bloody hell.
That could have been worse.
You gotta do something about him.
Again, contractually obliged.
Yeah, why is he contractually obligated to be here? He just
This is the only radio station I know that does tenure, and he has tenure. You can't get rid of him.
How long's he been here? Did he come with the building?
He was here at least as long as Jam Radio's existed.
Right.
But for some reason, he's only decided to come onto our show.
Yeah, there's something about us.
I don't know.
You gotta feel bad for the guy.
I mean, he's got his puppets.
Stupid little puppet.
Okay, he has one puppet.
It's all ripped and torn. You seen that thing?
Hey, at least he's recycling. Which is the theme of this show.
Yeah, I meant to ask you, how do you think the interviews have gone so far?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The first one was biased against recycling.
Uh-huh.
No, towards recycling.
Right.
And the other one didn't believe in recycling.
Right. Okay.
So I hope the next two guests are better.
Yeah, that's the thing. Couldn't really get anyone else. I did pull some strings and managed to get Ms. Dunbar back in. She's out there at the moment.
Again?
She does kind of recycle.
I mean, 2 weeks in a row. At least she runs the garden. Recycling kind of comes into it.
Puts the bodies in the fertilizer and then, churns it up a bit. That's recycling,
I mean,
right?
the court case is still ongoing, so we can't really say anything.
Yeah, we can't make any statements about it.
Or at least we can't say something happened.
Yeah, we can just allude. Like there may be flesh, human flesh.
In our carrots.
In the Tannadice allotments.
In the
maybe,
carrots.
Allegedly.
In the carrots.
In the carrots.
And perhaps the squash.
Or the yams.
I don't think yams grow here.
No. I mean, you'd be surprised what grows up there, the things she's been doing to. Anyway, shall I get her in?
I mean, bring her in if we have no one else.
She's excited.
And also, try and catch one of the other guests before they leave.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. They're both pretty annoyed out there.
Wow.
Yes, you're up. Now, this is 2 weeks in a row. You've bundled me into the back of a car.
Okay, the second time was just a taxi called for you.
I would beg to differ, my boy. Oh, your cables are everywhere.
Nathan's going to have to come fix that now.
We disrupted the stream. Yes, as I said, twice now, you've accosted me on the street. Strange men in masks bundling me into the back of a van.
Again, maybe that happened the first time. I cannot confirm or deny. It definitely did not happen the second time. There was a taxi called.
Well, I beg to differ. I did have to pay the driver, which I thought was strange in an abduction.
Yeah.
Yes. It is unusual in my many years, my hundreds of years, that ever I've had to pay for an abduction, other than when I've paid someone to abduct someone else. You see what I mean?
I'm just going to skim right past that. Okay, so the topic of today's show is recycling.
Well, I suppose when you take a hostage that you kind of have... What's it called again? When you ask someone to pay for the hostage.
A bounty? No.
Bounty? A bribe? You know what I mean?
Extortion of some kind.
Blackmail. I've done that. And then, so, that is a kind of a way of getting someone to pay for an abduction. But anyway, you're saying recycling.
Yes, recycling.
Very important. I make sure to recycle all my goods in the proper manner. I think it's a very important part of our society that we recycle. However, I do believe that corporations have put the onus on civilian populations to sort out climate crisis when domestic waste and CO2 emissions are one of the lowest compared to big business.
I'm shocked. Okay, so Ms. Dunbar, you would say then that large corporations are getting away with producing very wasteful pollution,
yes.
Not properly dealing with their waste, making the worst, cheapest possible choices in the choices of packaging they make.
Yes.
Frequently unrecyclable, they go straight to landfill.
Yes. And I would say, I saw your previous guest, Robo-Boy.
Robo-Boy, yeah.
Now he is a big no-no in the world of environmentalism.
Really?
Yes. He doesn't pay his workers.
Yes, we did hear that.
He frequently takes recyclable goods to the landfill because it's cheaper. He wouldn't have told you that, but I know.
What an expose. Hopefully we can get him back in to slam him with this.
And
our star witness, Miss Dunbar, I can't say.
And I've heard he takes bribes from politicians. He doesn't bribe politicians. They bribe him.
Wait, why would they bribe him?
I'm not sure. Possibly they're all a bit confused.
Yes.
If you've seen the state of Parliament at the moment, sorry, it's just a bit of my topical humour. They're bribing the people who bribe them. But I can say that he is a rather lovely gentleman. And he is a rather sweet gentleman. It's just his politics and his business practices are all over the place.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about glad to hear. It's terrible to hear that every guest so far, except for your wonderful you, Miss Dunbar.
Oh yes, I'm untouchable.
In the eyes of the law, so it would seem.
I shall not state on that court case, ongoing as it is.
Yes, of course.
I will say, however...
We were instructed not to bring it up.
The city council is, they're badgering me.
Is this because of the statue?
It's because of the tunnels.
The tunnels?
The tunnels. Throughout Dundee.
Did you mention the tunnels last week, Miss Dundee?
I don't believe I did.
So there are tunnels underneath Dundee?
There are tunnels all throughout Dundee, connecting to the law.
Connecting to the law?
Yes. There's a big connection. A big hive.
Of lawyers?
Of bureaucrats.
Bureaucracy?
Yes. They plague the city, these bureaucrats.
In their tunnels?
They use the tunnels to navigate. And they roam and they pester. And they generally cause a nuisance to Dundee's civilian population.
So why would the city council, who I presume is made up of bureaucrats, be badgering you about the tunnels?
Well, I may or may not last week have said they were all cultists.
So it was city council who were the cultists?
Yes.
And that is...
Not me. Do you think I was a cultist?
No, it was never...
No, I'm just the prophet of Cthulhu. I'm not a cultist. That's crass. They're cultists.
So, are they cultists to Cthulhu?
No. They're cultists to Dagon, the sea god.
Right.
Because Dundee is so up and coming with its location next to the sea that they'll spend however many millions on a statue of a whale when the tunnels are permeating through the city.
So the Tannadice tenements...
Allotments.
Allotments. Slip of the tongue.
Yes.
Which you said was right next to the statue.
The statue is being built there, yes.
Okay, so it's separate from the whale statue.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I was seeing a geographical...
You see a whale. I see a whale.
The cultists.
The cultists see Dagon.
I see.
Yes. As he prays to the sea and the sea prays to him. And any and all who go down to the waterfront are paying tribute to Dagon.
Oh. Yeah. And how does this...
Sorry, am I boring you?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's just very late at night.
It's a little... It's getting on. I'm usually having my cocoa and watching Inspector Morse at this time.
Ah. Okay,
what a heartthrob that man is.
Perhaps...
God rest his soul.
Right. Perhaps in another interview with you, we'll talk more about the whole bureaucracy, Dagon, Cthulhu situation.
The tunnel system.
The law tunnels.
Yeah, yes.
To the hive of the bureaucrats.
The tunnels which lead to the law, filled with bureaucrats.
Underneath Dundee.
Yes. I'm glad you've understood me. You didn't seem to quite understand the other two. They look quite offended.
Most of what I do here is repeat back what they've said.
Yes.
So Okay, so recycling.
Yes.
So the other two, one was very for reusing, not so much reducing. Yeah. The other one thought reducing and reusing was propaganda. Reduce, reuse. What's your take, Miss Dunbar?
Reduce, reuse, recycle. I remember that little ditty. A previous lover, I believe it was written by. John or Jack or something like that. I think it's a good message for the children, but as I've said, I think there should be more onus on big business.
So you could say that Robo-Boy is at least 2/3 correct in that reduce and reuse is a sort of propaganda, but the direction is incorrect because it's the larger businesses that are putting the responsibility of reducing landfill and increasing recycling onto the consumer.
I'm glad you've managed to put this together in a understandable way.
I mean, just in the... Remember... Well, I'm sure you remember, but I'm talking to the listeners as well here.
Oh, yeah.
When it used to be that you could get milk bottles delivered. You know, the milk dolly would come round and there was bottles, and you'd leave out the empties to be picked up again.
Preying on lonely old widows. Yes, I remember.
Right. Well, that's reusing on a company level.
Yes.
Until it was priced out by cheap plastic packaging.
Precisely.
And supermarkets.
Yes. And do you know that supermarkets are the hive of the devil?
Which ones?
Which devils?
Which supermarkets?
I shan't name names. In case your lovely radio station undergoes a lawsuit. as irreverent
I'm sure
as it
alluding that a supermarket is
in league with Satan.
Is in league with Satan is certainly problematic.
Clearly, Tesco's. Have you seen the price of bread?
I mean, the price of bread is high everywhere.
That's the devil.
The devil is inflation.
Yes, but he's doing it for a purpose, you see.
Is it?
To direct us towards Cthulhu.
Satan and Cthulhu are in cahoots.
No, but I like to think they are.
Right. Okay. But yes, so too with other things. Like, it used to be that you could take your old iron brew, large 1.5 litre to 2 litre glass bottles, and you could get a deposit back. Yeah. Often 20p, as I was talking about with Greasy Greg, who doesn't believe in 20p's. He likes the idea, though.
He likes the idea of 20p's?
Yes.
20p's as a concept, or 20p's in regards to recycling?
As a concept.
He just likes 20p's.
As a concept. Okay. That was my impression.
Okay.
I couldn't...
Strange man. I must visit his store sometimes.
Well, yes, it was Greg's Refurbished Garbage.
That's correct.
And if any of our listeners want to... I don't know where it is. He didn't say where. It's just...
I think it's kind of everywhere. It's like the room of requirements from those lovely little Harry Potter films.
If you require pins...
Yes.
Stamps...
Oh.
Badges...
Oh.
Clothes from dead people...
Oh. I've got a few of those.
Well, maybe you can sell them for...
Oh, a profit, perhaps.
Greg's is place.
Acquiring them was no cheap thing.
Moving on. So you can pick that up. You can pick any of those up at Greg's, or you could sell them at Greg's.
Yes.
To clarify, not Greg's the bakery. I'm just shortening Greg's Refurbished Garbage.
Please don't take your dead uncle's clothes down to Greg's the bakery. They won't
Please,
like you.
We don't want to be in trouble. Right. So anyway, there was the 20p recycling thing. You could, instead of throwing in the bin, which was an option, you were encouraged financially to bring those bottles in.
Oh.
And, I mean, I don't know if it was a thing, but perhaps younger youths or anyone could collect these bottles. Absolutely. And
my niece used to do it a lot. She'd bring back all these bottles of iron brew, and I'd say, Samantha, what do you think you're doing with all those bottles of iron brew? And she said, Nan. She called me Nan, even though I was her auntie. She called me Nan.
As they do.
She said, Nan, I'm going to make a profit And I said, what are you going to do with those iron brew bottles to make a profit? And she said, I'm going to fill them with Pruno.
Pruno?
Do you understand what Pruno is?
Is it prune juice?
It's prison wine.
Right.
Yes.
Prison wine?
Yes.
Is that the one that's made from, like...
toilet water?
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're doing that outside of prison?
I didn't. My niece did.
Was your niece in prison when she did it? Were you both in prison? Were you prison roommates?
9 or 10.
In prison?
No. No, this was up the law.
Okay.
Yes. And she made the Pruno and filled the iron brew bottles with Pruno and sold them at some remarkable profit. And that's a bit of ingenuity there.
Entrepreneurship.
Precisely.
On the small scale, which is the best scale.
Absolutely. You were saying about recycling iron brew bottles.
I mean, that is reusing iron brew bottles.
Exactly. It is
right
indeed.
Inside that triple cycle of propaganda, we've been told.
True, yes.
There is still value in reusing waste. There is still value in...
This is a domestic level, a young, independent
reducing the amount of waste you produce. And there's certainly value for the secret fourth thing, repairing broken items. Refurbishment.
Yes, absolutely. Strange voices coming from the abyss. Absolutely. Repairing your old packaging.
Yes.
Repairing your old socks.
Repairing old clothes, yes. Repairing puppets.
Yes, I saw. Perhaps that rather dual-looking boy who seems to pop in and out of here could do with a bit of...
Perhaps you could teach Kenneth a thing or two about darning socks.
I'll take him under my wing.
Oh, no. Okay, wonderful. And e-waste as well.
Yes.
Like, my phone is destroyed. But
oh, yes, I see.
Yes,
looks like the screen of a teenage girl's phone.
Yes, I'm very aware. It's deeply embarrassing. But I've been doing my research and practicing my skills on repairing it myself instead of getting a new one.
Very good.
Yes, so that's what I'm trying to do.
I guess, yes. There's an interesting go between doing things yourself and allowing businesses, small businesses, independent businesses.
Not always small independent businesses, but they exist.
No, yes, but like these phone repair shops, these small independent phone repair shop places, allowing them to provide a service cheaper than the market rate of, say, big phone companies. Allowing them to do that service for people who don't have the time to learn a new skill. I do believe we should have the skills to darn our socks or fix our phones or rebottle our Pruno.
Or making rope out of nettles.
But I think there is a place for tradesmen.
For skills, lost skills. Yeah.
Skilled tradesmen.
I think, in the industrialized society that we exist in, that you have lived through the rise and fall of,
more than just industrialization.
Automation has led to a...
You should have seen the Renaissance. People throwing things this way and that. Their own feces out the toilet, out the window.
I mean, the toilet was the window back
Precisely, just hanging their arse out.
Efficient. So yes, there are old skills of repairing and things, even in this generation, have been lost. You know, skills that would pass from parent to child even.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, you talk about like DIY, do it yourself. Even then, that is slowly falling, especially since a lot of the things that you used to be able to repair, you can now void the warranty or they're so complex as it is to be prohibitively difficult.
Precisely. Absolutely. You've hit the metaphysical nail on the head.
Yeah. So, Ms. Dunbar, it turns out that we've been talking for way too long, so we need to wrap this up. So if you have any final comments on recycling as a whole that you could provide for our distinguished listeners.
Don't trust the tunnels. If you find a tunnel, turn around. Because all that's down there is filing cabinets. And all that's in those filing cabinets is evidence.
I don't know why I asked. Well, for me...
Will you pay for my abduction home?
I mean, we paid...
Can the studio afford that?
Well, Well, Nathan's got some change. Yeah, we'll be fine.
I'll speak to him on the way out, shall I?
Yeah.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, well,
you need only give me a phone call next time. You don't need to harass me whilst I'm shopping at Cancer Research or Oxfam or Heart, Stroke and Brain Scotland or UK.
Alright, well, that was Miss Dunbar, a wonderful old lady who...
She's lovely, isn't she?
Weren't you just saying something about the court case? Or?
Oh, no, she's
Remember,
lovely.
Same woman.
Oh, yeah. She just, reminds me of my nan.
Also, you'll have to pay for her taxi home.
What?
Yeah, there's no money in the kitty.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've successfully done quite a few interviews here, John.
3 interviews.
Well done. Without Kieran this week.
I think we were trying to get some of our first 2 back, but they've stormed out in a huff.
Yeah.
Clearly, better things to do than listen to talk on this radio show.
I think they saw you talking to Miss Dunbar and got intimidated by someone who could hold their own in an interview situation.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We'll be back in 2 weeks, hopefully with more prats.
Yep.
But, John, thank you very much for holding down the fort this week.
I did better than I thought I would.
Okay, well, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Dundee Community Broadcast. At least 4